Now, based on the previous videos in which we studied that a current carrying coil will experience a magnetic force when it is put in a magnetic field, if instead of a current carrying conductor, straight conductor, suppose if we have a rectangular coil like we have here, the rectangular coil PQRS is kept in a magnetic field between two magnets, and the direction of magnetic field is from north pole to south pole, so it will be in this direction. Now let us say that this is a current carrying coil and the current is, say, in this direction, anti-clockwise. Then all four sides will experience some kind of force because each side can be considered as individual conductor of length L, which is kept in the magnetic field. Now if we take the direction of B with respect to each of the lengths, and we can draw it here that for arm SP, the direction of B will be like this. And let us say that the plane of this coil makes an angle theta with B. The coil is kept in such a way that it is making an angle. This PQRS is kept like not perpendicular, but it is kept like this. So S is this one, this is P, this is Q, and this is R. So it is P, Q, R and S, and it is not kept perpendicular, it is kept a bit like this at an angle. So beta, which is magnetic field B, which is like this, in horizontal direction it is like this, and it is kept like this. So at this angle, this B will make some angle with each of the edge with the plane of this coil. So let us say that this angle which it is making is theta. So with SP, the angle theta will be there between B and length of SP. Similarly, beta will be here, but since this particular arm PQ is perpendicularly downwards, it is perpendicularly downwards, so the angle that this will make with B will be 90 degree. Similarly, opposite side, this will also make 90 degree angle, and if we take this QR, this will make the same angle as SP, which is theta. So now we can find out force on each of the sides. So we'll do it one by one. Let us say first we take PQ. Now force, let us say this force is F1 that it is experiencing. So F1 will be equal to current I, L cross B. Now the angle between L and B is 90 degree. So F1 will be equal to ILB. Now the direction of F1, again we are going to find the direction with Fleming's left hand rule. So if thumb gives us the direction of current which is downward, the direction of current, the thumb will be downward. The second finger gives us the direction of magnetic field which will be like this. So we are going to keep like this. Then force F1 will be in upward direction. Force F1 will be upward direction. So I am making upward direction like this. Write F1 equals to ILB, and I'll write it here in upward direction. You can apply Fleming's left hand rule yourself on PQ. Make sure that your current, the direction of your thumb is in the direction of current. So from P to Q you take the direction of thumb. The direction of second finger will be in this direction. Then you will find that automatically your index finger is pointing upward. So the direction of F1 will be upward. Now let us take the opposite side, RS. The current is moving from R to S. So F3, let us call it F3. Again it will be same because the angle again is 90 degree. So the magnitude of the force will be same as the previous one, ILB. And if you apply Fleming's left hand rule here, you will find out that this F3 is going in downward direction. So if F1 is like this, then F3 will be in opposite direction. So we will say downward direction. So to make it more clear, upward direction means out of this paper, in the upward direction, out of this paper, and downward direction means inward paper. So if you consider this particular paper as PQRS, and this is P, Q, R and S, then this side PQ is experiencing a force in upward direction like this. This side RS is experiencing force in the downward direction. So now you can understand that these two forces are going to rotate the coil in this direction. If this is PQRS, then F3 is downward, F1 is upward, so it will be rotating like this. So it will rotate the force. So F1 and F3 will form a couple which we call equal and opposite forces, which will F1 and F3 will be a couple, and they will rotate PQRS. Now let us take other two sides. Let us take force on SP, the upward side. The force on SP, let us say it is F4, and this will be given by I, length of SP. We took the length of PQ and RS as L, so let us take length of SP and QR as B. We can take it breadth. So it will be I into breadth into this. Now the angle here is sine theta. So this will be equal to I B into B sine theta. Now if we apply Fleming's left hand rule on this also, then you'll find that the force F4 that we took, it will be in upward direction. It will be like this, F4. And similarly, if we apply on QR, then F2, again it will be same, IB into B sine theta, but it will be in downward direction. So F2 will be here. Now F4 is in upward direction, F2 is in downward direction. So these two forces are acting on the same vertical line, so they will cancel each other out. Force F1 and F2 are equal, so they will cancel each other, and as a result there will be no vertical displacement of PQRS. That means the coil will not move in vertical direction. It will not move like this. It will only rotate because of F1 and F3. Now since it is rotating, that means there is a torque. Now we have to find the torque. So we will see this coil from here, from under the coil we are seeing this. So let us say if this was the coil, then we will look at the coil in this direction. So this was P, Q, R and S. So if we look from this direction, the only side that we are going to see is the bottom side, which is the QR side. So if we make this same diagram while looking it from this direction, from the downward direction, then it will look like this, that this is the magnetic field and QR will be visible like this. This will be your QR from downward direction, because all the other side, these two are perpendicular, so they will not be seen, and PQ will hide behind RS. So all we are going to see is this QR. And this side, this is breadth, this was taken as length, so this is breadth. So you can write here that the length of this is B, and this side was making an angle theta. So this is your theta. F1 on this side, so from Q, F1 will be like this, and F3 will be like this. So they will rotate this conductor, they will rotate the conductor like this. Now torque, we know that torque is equal to force into perpendicular distance. So force here, let us take F for a moment, force into the perpendicular distance. Perpendicular distance between what? Perpendicular distance between two forces that are forming this torque. That means the perpendicular distance between F1 and F3. This perpendicular distance is found like this. We'll make two perpendiculars, we'll drop it here, this will be at 90 degree, and let us say that this is N, then Qn is the perpendicular distance, and F is, already we have seen F is equal to ILB. We can substitute here ILB into Qn. Now if this angle is theta, then this angle will also be theta. So we can, in this particular triangle QRN, we can write that cos theta is equal to Qn upon B. Is cos theta equals to base by hypotenuse, so Qn upon B. So we can, instead of Qn, we can put here B cos theta. L, length and breadth, they will make the area A. So that means this torque can be given as IAB cos theta, where we can write A is the area of PQRS. So this will be the value of torque. Now if you have n number of turns, if instead of one coil you have n number of coils, then you can multiply this with n and you'll get NIAB cos theta. Now another important thing is that this term consists of cos component, but torque is a vector component. So that means here instead of cos we should have sin to express torque in vector form. So that's why to express torque in vector form, what we will do, we will put a perpendicular here. We'll draw a perpendicular line which is perpendicular to QR. So this is 90 degree and this is also 90 degree. So this angle is theta. So let us say this angle is alpha. So that means alpha plus theta will be equal to 90 degree, or we can write that theta equals to 90 minus alpha. Now if we put theta equals to 90 minus alpha here, then torque will become equal to IAB cos 90 minus alpha. Cos 90 minus alpha is sin alpha. So this will be equal to IAB sin alpha. Now if there are n number of conductors, then this torque will be equal to NIAB sin alpha. This value NIA is denoted by capital M, which is called magnetic moment. This capital M is called magnetic moment. So if we replace it by magnetic moment, then this will be MIB sin alpha. Magnetic moment is itself a vector quantity. It is same as electrical dipole moment. Electrical dipole moment was between plus Q and minus Q. Magnetic moment is between North Pole and South Pole. So this will be equal to M cross B. This will be equal to torque. So this is how torque is calculated for a rectangular coil, which is current carrying rectangular coil which is kept in a magnetic field.